Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to the Hodinka Arena here in Moscow, Russia. We have a big night of action coming your way, and at this time we present a cruiserweight championship in the ring. At this time, I introduce to you our referee in charge, the third man in the ring. We have Victor Panyan. All right, fans, here we go with the IBF Pan-Pacific Cruiserweight Championship. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with white trim, hailing from San Jose, Costa Rica. He weighed in at 198 1/2 pounds with a record of 9 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. He has 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Henry El Oso Saenz.
Так, справа от меня в синем углу ринга. Спортсмену 32 года, его рост 180 сантиметров и вес 92,35 килограмма. Его профессиональный рекорд 22 боя, 15 побед, 6 поражений, 1 ничья, 12 побед нокаутом. Из Сан-Хосе, Коста-Рика, Henry Медведь Saenz.
And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trunks with white trim, hailing from Kaykeri, New Zealand by way of Algeria. He weighed in the same weight of 198 1/2 pounds. He is undefeated with a record of 22 wins, no losses, and 1 draw, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Mohamed Ali Azzaoui.
Дамы и господа, слева от меня в красном углу ринга 31-летний боец. Его рост 190 сантиметров и вес 90,5 килограмма. Его профессиональный рекорд 23 боя, 21 победа, 2 ничьих, 7 побед нокаутом. Из Керри-Керри, Новая Зеландия, Mohamed Azzaoui.
Dylan? Gentlemen, good luck. Check hands. Check hands. Go now.
Yeah, we look at this matchup here. Both guys got some age on them, huh?
Yeah, they're both obviously in their early 30s and not too much to pick from in terms of height and reach, but clearly the favored fighter in this match is Azzaoui.
Right, and particularly to punctuate that point, Henry Saenz had trouble making weight yesterday, which can't help him. But the other side of it, Mohamed Azzaoui, it's important to say right now, devout Muslim, and Ramadan just finished. He trained without food and water through the entire 30-day time of Ramadan. So he just today broke that daytime fast. I can't believe it could be a great thing for him physically.
Yeah, could obviously eat and drink in the evening, but was training and not being able to eat during the daylight hours. And we'll see how that fares, how he fares if this fight goes longer.
Yeah, really trying to stick that jab right now. And we see Saenz in the black trunks from Costa Rica, originally from Nicaragua. No disgrace on his record. He's 9-4-1, but man, he's lost to some dudes, hasn't he?
Yeah, Fabrice Tiozo, former champion, Thomas Ulrich, the fine German fighter among them, and so he's lost a couple of good fighters, and he's trying to find his way after kind of a late start in boxing.
Yeah, he run 4 straight. He got beaten 4 straight by those quality names among them that Al mentioned, but then has won 3 straight since, all against soft opposition back in Costa Rica. But he's stepping up big time against Mohamed Azzaoui, the former Algerian national champion, 2000 Olympian, who after the Olympics stayed in Sydney and moved to New Zealand, worked at a timber mill, and has really built a career in New Zealand and Australia. But now he's in Russia trying to move up. He's ranked by a couple of organizations in the top 10 according to the BA, so this could be, well, he's got to look good, let's face it. He's got to look real good tonight, because it's an action-packed, talent-laden division, isn't it, Al?
It really is, and a couple of good left hands landed by Saenz a moment ago, and got a kind of a smile from the face of Azzaoui. Well, you know this is an internationally flavored fight when we have an Algerian as you pointed out, is living in New Zealand, taking on a Nicaraguan, now living in Costa Rica. And where do they fight? Moscow.
Makes sense to me, Al. We came a long way as well, and interesting thing with Saenz, as you mentioned, he landed effectively, but he's got that big right hand. That's his best shot, so he's got to get inside and stay inside. But Azzaoui, a boxer who likes to really create distance, control range, and he's been able to do it, fighting very economically so far. There we see Saenz trying to get in behind that jab, but unable to unleash that right hand. So single shot power, he's really not stuffing that jab, so he's not discouraging Azzaoui. Azzaoui coming forward, in fact, this time. End of a cautious first round coming here in Moscow. Saturday night here in Moscow, Russia. Nick Charles, Al Bernstein, ringside. Happy you could join us once again. And an hour ago, Evander Holyfield arrived. How many times has he taken this walk? He talked about the kind of focus it takes to get ready. He's so used to it. Knowledge is power, he talked about. Maybe that's what a guy over the hill has to talk about, but he's saying experience really does count. And Al, you have to think this is an awfully long walk, probably longer for Ibragimov.
So Sultan Ibragimov, about a little under a half hour ago, getting here to this arena. It's what he hopes will be a triumphant homecoming. Tough to make that happen sometimes, and you pointed out at the top of the show that there are distractions for him. We'll see how he performs.
Looks very focused as well here. They'll get it on for the heavyweight title later. But right now, second of a 10-round cruiserweight fight. Mohamed Azzaoui in blue, and in the black, Henry Saenz from Costa Rica. Very slow, cautious first round. Now Saenz trying to get in behind the jab, but not a lot on it. Again, probing to the body, and Azzaoui's got to pick it up a little bit. Just watching him prior to this, again, it's a guy who wants to box. And Azzaoui wants to stay at a distance here, control range throughout, maybe pace this fight. He's again been able to do it because Saenz can't close and be aggressive. He's trying the jab, and then the right hand isn't coming. Now he gets shoved back by Azzaoui.
And when you have 7 knockouts and 21 wins, as Azzaoui does, it's clear you're not a big knockout artist. So he's a boxer puncher with an emphasis, as you pointed out, on the boxing. You know, Saenz, toward the end of that last round, did land a couple of pretty good overhand rights. And as you said, that's the weapon he would like to get in.
We see Azzaoui now inside, covering up, taking shots, not countering inside. Now he's coming forward, but he really wants to get extension on that shot. It's not a bad idea with a guy with a reach advantage. And being a boxer, as you mentioned, Al. Azzaoui on the right, they're back to us right now. And Saenz comes walking in, and that's they're hoping to turn and run him into some shots, but he got to keep firing. And there, Azzaoui unleashing the overhand right, not landing, but throwing with some fury for the first time in this fight.
Azzaoui not even close with those right hands he was throwing, though. So
it's awkward, doesn't it?
his accuracy right now is struggling.
Again, he has been stopped, as we mentioned, KO'd in 5 by Fabrice Tiazo, TKO'd in 1 by Alexander Alexiv.
You know, for Azzaoui, sometimes there are little warning signs, like in his last 5 opponents, here's the records of some of them: 7-3, 0-2, and 4-4. When you get to this point in your career, you should really have records like that on your resume as recent as that.
So with you, Al, and again, a guy in an organization ranked in the top 10, and you're going nowhere in terms of quality of opposition and stepping up your game. It's hard to believe that can be.
And here's why it's really an anomaly. In this division, the cruiserweight division, that doesn't happen very often. Almost everybody fights everybody else. And he'll have to if he's going to get to the top of this division, Azzaoui.
He obviously wants to make an impression here on a pay-per-view telecast around the world. He's fighting a very patient fight. Henry Saenz not doing much offensively to win this round either as we close out 2.
listening?
Yep.
I want you to work outside his left hand.
Left hand, yeah.
Okay, you're walking around his right.
Henry Saenz
He's got nothing for the left.
He's got nothing
kind
on
of
his left
pushing
hand.
the attack, but was nailed with this right hand by Azzaoui. So many of the Azzaoui right hands were off the mark. That one was not. And when he throws it as a counter punch, he can get that punch in.
Just get on his punch. Now, when you want to see your right hand again, close your back leg up, remember? Get it.
After you work with Rusty on the body, same thing.
Yeah.
Round 3, cruiserweights, Mohamed Azzaoui in the blue and in the black, Henry Saenz from Costa Rica. And Al, I think Azzaoui has got the dial in. He could make this an easy fight, in my opinion, with an effective jab. He could run Saenz into some punches or keep him at the end of the jab, but I don't think he's firing enough myself.
He was a little timid with some of those punches, as you point out, especially the jab. And that's a punch Azzaoui has to make work for himself to be effective in this round. Per your instructions, Nick Charles, he's come out firing that jab.
I just talk loud.
He must have heard you.
He wants to control range here, and Saenz not walking into anything stupid, but not putting his offense in gear where he's in a position to do any damage. Shorter guy, and you see that Azzaoui on the right continues to create that space.
Azzaoui ranked 8th by the WBC or by WBA, excuse me, and he's in a division that's crowded with great champions and great talent. Well, when could you say that about the cruiserweight division? John Mark Mormack was the WBA title, of course, that he would be seeking. As also WBC, Steve Cunningham, a terrific fighter, Enzo Maccarinelli, and lots of other fighters down the line in the cruiserweight division. It has as much depth as any in boxing.
It does. We've talked about it through the years, Al. It's strange how it's always been the the poor sister to the heavyweights, because again, when a guy can really punch, and I'm not saying either of these guys can, but some of the mentioned names in the top 10 sure can, and also be mobile and throw volume shots and not a lot of clinches. I think they're really exciting at 200 pounds.
Yeah, they almost always are. Now, there was a very good double jab by Azzaoui, and he was able to come with the right hand after it.
Right. Azzaoui seems to have better hand speed, but he's not letting his hands go yet. Very cautious, tactical fight here in Moscow. Saenz got his left hand low a little bit, but single shots now as Azzaoui continues to blast away, stick and move with the left hand, strictly with the jab.
This is not a really big ring. Saenz coming forward and going after Azzaoui. It's a little over 18 feet, it looks like. Not a giant ring, so for Azzaoui, when he's trying to move, it doesn't allow him that much mobility.
Right, it does make a difference, I think. So a puncher's ring if Saenz shows he can punch. In his 13 fights, he's got 8 KOs. But again, those came all in Costa Rica. He's definitely stepping up here tonight and holding his own, and so far an uneventful 3 rounds.
Lugar, dame la vaselina. Lugar, un 8. Cuida ahí, aquí.
When you are a tall boxer puncher, that's not a tall boxer puncher, but she's reminding us that it's round 3. But when you are a tall boxer puncher like Azzaoui, that man, it's imperative that you make the jab work. And here he doubles up with that punch, and that allows him to then land the right hand behind it. That's pure and simple what this fighter, Mohamed Azzaoui, is all about.
Yeah, interesting, Al. In the corner, we see he elects to stand up. So fasting during the day, I might try that. It'd give me more energy.
You're in pretty good shape, though, so I think you're all right.
So no stool from Mohamed Azzaoui.
page from the George Foreman book.
Yeah. Not a terrible amount of offense from either guy so far through 8 scheduled for 10. Henry Saenz from Costa Rica in black, white stripe, and in the blue coming forward now, but still controlling distance. He's not getting too close. Picking off the jab from Saenz and sticking one of his own in. But really, we haven't seen Azzaoui get the combinations running. So, not able to streamline those shots. I don't know, is Saenz defense that tricky to you, Al, or what do you see?
I think Henry Saenz has a good, keeps his hands pretty high, and I think often he's a little difficult to hit, but still the volume of punches would take care of that.
There's the double jab from Azzaoui again. Saenz runs into a left there, but nothing coming behind it. Now Saenz strikes that hook, but when he gets close now, he'll back off electively. I would think he would have to get close and stay close.
You're absolutely right. He's not cutting the distance between himself and Azzaoui. Until he does that, he's going to have a problem in this fight.
You know, maybe he's just not much of a puncher. I mean, his big right hand can be his best shot, but it doesn't mean it's going to put anybody to sleep.
Well, he needs to get on the inside and work, as he did a moment or so ago. See, right there, he gets inside and then throwing limited number of punches.
Right, and it doesn't seem so far that Azzaoui is effective at all in shortening up his shots inside. There's a good overhand right as he took that little half step back.
That's the best right hand I think Azzaoui can throw. And there's yet another chopping right hand. So he's starting to get that punch in and the jab, making it effective.
Saenz doing a decent job of not overextending, at least, not running into too many shots, not leaning over, and now taunting Azzaoui. Saenz sticks the jab, retreats. Once again. Oh, nice counter left from Azzaoui.
You know, Azzaoui has good hand speed. He really does. There are some components missing to make him a top cruiserweight right now. He bends in a little bit, negates his height and reach, and makes himself a little bit more of a target than he needs to be there. He did it right there. He also leans in a little bit with his punches, and his attack really is kind of one-dimensional, jab, straight right hand. But having said all that, he's got, you know, good athleticism, and that jab and right are good punches.
He's moving well now, starting to string some shots together. Nothing serious, but certainly enough, it looks like, to win round 4 here in Moscow.
Quite close, you see? Yeah, don't have to come in close. But he's leaning over to your left after you throw.
Mohamed Azzaoui, when he throws that jab like that, very, very effective. And there he continues to punish Saenz with the jab.
Head to the 5th. Big Charles Al Bernstein, happy you elected to join us tonight. Ringside seat here in Moscow. You know, Al, I also saw for the first time a very effective counter from Azzaoui. I think he should do that a little bit more.
Yeah, as Saenz is coming in, you're absolutely right. If he can, the counter right hand has been effective a couple of times.
And he stung Saenz before the bell with that overhand right again. Saenz coming very squared up, not really getting any leverage on those shots. There's the jab. Now it's tripled up by Azzaoui.
The other thing, and it's kind of interesting, you know sometimes how weight divisions take on a certain character of their own. The cruiserweight division is made up of, at the top, of a lot of fighters who are big enough to punch hard, but small enough to punch in volume. and they are active. They always are in active fights. Azzaoui bucks that trend. He's one of the very few pure boxer types in the cruiserweight division, and obviously he makes for fights that are slightly more tactical, like this one, if your opponent, in this case Saenz, doesn't have the ability to really pressure you.
Excellent point. You know, speaking of Azzaui's preparation, or where he is and who he fought, I'll give him one thing. When he came over to adjust the time change here, he went over to the UK and he got some good sparring with David Hay, who's a top-notch cruiserweight. So that had to help, even though his experience in terms of quality of opposition hadn't been there. That's some quality sparring.
Absolutely, it was a great idea on their part to get him a little of that kind of experience.
Nice. You know, I don't see anything exceptional in Henry Saenz, but when he really throws his jab with conviction, he's good. Now he got countered with a left. He does nothing extremely well, but nothing terribly bad.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's just a pretty solid fighter who wants to take that step up and get better.
His nose, the bridge of his nose swelling now. Nice right followed by the left hook from Saenz. Not a lot on it.
Henry Saenz really needs someone who will really stand in front of him and engage, probably for him to be at his optimum. And that is not going to happen against Mohamed Azzaoui.
Mohamed Azzaoui trying to turn a little bit. Saenz not able to cut the corner himself inside, maybe counter. He's got to restart. He's got to be a little bit busier, maybe steal a round or two. And now he drives Azzaoui back. Azzaoui gets dialed in again and revs it up with that jab. Look at the bridge of the nose of Henry Saenz. He's definitely swelling. So that jab's found a home. That overhand right as well. And that really hurts Saenz. He's in trouble. He's trying to hold on. Let's see if Azzaoui pushes him off. He does. And see if he can close it here. 10 seconds to go in round 5. Left hook before the bell, but the bell could have saved Henry Saenz now.
The right hand of Azzaoui changed this fight dramatically in that round. And I believe it was a lead right. Of course, we're going to get a chance to peek at it. Toward the end of that last round, and unfortunately for Azzaoui, came very late in the round. There's the right hand that stunned Henry Saenz, and Azzaoui got another good right hand in, but Saenz holding on, and he was pushed off by Azzaoui. And you know, here also is a case of a fighter who's not used to all-out assaults. Once he got Saenz in trouble, look, he's a little awkward in trying to figure out, let's see, I got to go finish this guy off. This is not what I do. So
good observation.
It took a while for him to land another big punch.
And by then he was out of clock.
Yes.
And Henry Saenz has a minute to see if he's back. Boy, his nose is the bridge of his nose, big swelling there. Let's see what Azzaoui does. He had Saenz hurt. I'm not saying Saenz isn't dangerous, but Al, should he press the pedal down a little further now?
Well, here's where Mohamed Azzaoui now and his people say, all right, how much is it important to us at age 31 in this world of cruiserweights to market ourselves? And do we need to go after Henry Saenz and say, look, we can go knock him out and show that we deserve a place at the table?
Great point, because he did hurt Saenz, and he hit him with a left hook there, sinking one into the jaw. Not a lot of body shots in this, and a nice right uppercut. So that's Saenz running into shots now. Saenz not punching at all, looking for openings. He tried the lead right to follow up with the left, but he's walking in squared up. And Azzaoui can pot shot him from outside or drive him back at times, but no doubt he likes to create that distance and get extension on his shots, does Azzaoui. Azzaoui backing up a little half step back. He wants space. Jab right hand followed by a hybrid hook.
And you won't see many hooks from Azzaoui, that's for sure.
No body shots either. Saenz got hit with a right. Another convincing round. There's a right hand from Saenz as he caught Azzaoui on the way in. Azzaoui more off balance than hurt there.
And that came because Azzaoui, sometimes when he throws these punches, will drop his hand. See, look, he did it right there.
You're right.
And then he will get nailed with a counter punch.
They just telling him, work off that jab. They got it all night against Saenz. Saenz with a wild right that misses. They exchange jabs, not terribly effective. And right hands. Action slowing considerably here.
And Henry Saenz was able to gather himself enough, although now again toward the end of the round he's getting rocked with big punches.
Getting pushed back, but Azzaoui playing it carefully. There's the right hand. So that step back, that extension, hope that Saenz will run in and use Saenz' momentum against him a little while.
The countering right's been very effective now for Azzaoui.
Come on in again. Keep down.
And coming up next, a title fight, and a good one. Super flyweight champion Dmitry Kirillov of Russia, Jose Navarro. Well, for the vacant title, I should say, super flyweight 115-pound title. There's Kirillov from St. Petersburg, Russia, coming off a disappointing loss and a 17-month layoff. He was disgusted with what happened to him in his only loss. Al, that was a fight you called.
Against Luis Perez, and many, including myself, thought that Kirillov had won the fight. And Jose Navarro, the man he's facing, also suffered a very controversial loss in the championship go on foreign soil. But he comes now for the third time, Navarro, to a faraway land for a title fight.
Right, so make or break, we'll see. He needs a performance, but right now Henry Saenz needs to win some rounds. We're in the 7th already, scheduled for 10. He's been hurt, saved by the bell perhaps, in the 5th, but you can't criticize Azzaoui by playing it not cautiously but safe, getting a lot done from outside, not exposing himself. Low blow there. Referee seemed to catch that. Saenz with a low blow. But you talked about the dynamism that you'd like to see in Azzaoui, Allen. I agree with you. This may not be his style to go for it.
And you know, of course, his big punching will come from the outside no matter what, but it's just a question of how aggressive does he want to be at any given moment. Now, you know, Saenz has fought twice in Germany and once in France, other than fighting in Costa Rica, and none of those 3 times have worked out well for him, as tonight is not, as he travels far from his home.
Well, you see, what do you see that Azzaoui should worry about at this point?
Well, you know, now, by the way, we see a cut over the right eye of Saenz as well, or around it, so that's another issue.
Oh, nice left hand from Azzaoui. He begins to explode with the combinations. Stiff jab, and that's what you wanted to see earlier. At least I did. But Al, back to Saenz, anything dangerous?
Yeah, for Saenz, I think, again, he's still trying to land that overhand right, but he is singular punching, and he's not getting on the inside. He really needed to rough up Azzaoui. A fighter like Azzaoui, you want to take him out of his comfort zone, out of his rhythm. He's very much a rhythm fighter, and Azzaoui's not doing that.
Yeah, not pressing him enough, in fact, backing up right now. This is not his range to land shots from. Azzaoui just pot-shotting.
The hand's very low of Azzaoui.
Yeah, he can't be hit from way out there. But, you know, he's not going to excite you from way out there either.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali. No. Part of the name.
But not quite all the dazzling hand and foot speed. And, you know, against Henry Saenz, he's able to get away with those hands being so low. Now, Saenz starting to use his jab a little bit more effectively.
Oh, right hand follows. So good comeback there from Azzaoui, if the left missed, it blinded Saenz to that right hand, and the right hand's landing regularly now.
You know, I said earlier you won't see many left hooks from Azzaoui, but I will correct myself. In the last several rounds, even though it's not his stock in trade, he's shown some terrific left hooks, and that could be part of the missing component for him. So,
point, Al. Yeah, start stringing those shots together. Everything's landing now.
Yep.
He's hit him with right hands, the jab. He's picking them off there. Just pot shotting now. This is like a sparring session now down the stretch.
He can't miss with that jab now, Azzaoui.
Good.
Well, remember the old Green Bay Packers? They run right, they run left. You know what's coming, but you can't stop it. It's always the same way. It's the jab, the straight right hand, the jab, the straight right hand, maybe a little shuffle, but the bottom line is it's the same weapons, but when you do it well, you can make it work. And certainly for Henry Saenz, he saw way too much in the last round of the jab and straight right hand, and throughout this fight has seen too much of it to suit him from Mohamed Azzaoui.
That's why I'm not listening to them. Don't listen to them. Yeah. Just keep headshotting him, right? Yeah.
There's probably bitterness there. You know, I grew up as a Bear fan. There's, you know.
Yeah, let's not. You know, you better stay objective there, Al. But I think another key with Saenz and how and why, and you hit it, you just nailed it with Azzaoui being in complete control. He's pushing Saenz back where he's just not in position to do anything.
Absolutely, that's exactly right. Instead of Saenz working to get inside, all the Saenz is doing is throwing an overhand right occasionally. He should be getting low, working his way to the inside, and then moving his hands when he gets there. That's the style that will be a problem for Mohamed Azzaoui.
Yeah, he seemed to want to bite on that a little bit of advice, but now just poking with probing with the left and stepping back.
You know, as we head into the later rounds of this fight, and we've touched on it, you look at Mohamed Azzaoui, who's ranked 8th by the WBA, and you start to wonder where does he fit in the bigger picture of the cruiserweight division based upon what we're seeing tonight and where he could go. And clearly, he's a fighter that has ability, but one thing, as I said, the cruiserweights mostly all have in common at the top of the list is they're all very active and very aggressive. How will Mohamed Azzaoui deal with fighters that are able to be more aggressive than Henry Saenz? That's what we have to find out.
That's the next hurdle. When something's coming back at you and you got a threatening guy in front of you. Saenz, though, definitely being schooled here again. Every time he stepped up, he's failed against quality.
That's exactly right. He's been able to beat the C-level opponents, but when he gets to B or B+, it doesn't work for him.
Yeah, better guys winning tonight, and that's Mohamed Azzaoui in blue. He is again controlling distance. They're just sharpshooting with the jab. Saenz reluctant to make a charge. He'll lunge at times. But here, just getting driven back with the jab and forces him to restart. Now the right hand behind it, and Saenz ties up, so he's getting a little weary. You see blood around the right eye of Saenz. Saenz got to go for it here. He's got 4 minutes left in this fight.
Yeah, very, very tough round for Henry Saenz.
He looks discouraged now. Just doesn't have an answer offensively.
You know, we talk about Azzaoui, but and some of his attacks is a little one-dimensional, but many fighters have gone a long way on mostly just the left jab and an occasional right hand. Many.
Good point. Well, Saenz going for it at least. He doesn't want to be inside.
He doesn't want to pay the price to get there by getting him with those right hands.
He's puffed under both eyes. Taking some shots here. A lot of volume. He's a tough guy, but he's outclassed through 9. Henry Saenz.
he moves around and a little bit razzle-dazzle there. And then throws the jab and the straight right hands, and this is what has been so effective in Henry Saenz, and has created that on Saenz's face.
Last round of this 10-round cruiserweight bout. Happy you could join us here in Moscow, Russia. Of course, our main event coming up. That's why you're here. The big one, Evander Holyfield, Sultan Ibragimov, the WBO heavyweight belt holder. Another title fight coming up in super flyweight. But right now, we'll see. As did the corner said they've had enough. Promoter, the manager, that's enough. Henry Saenz was game, but as we said, Al simply outclassed.
Too much punishment being taken, and they decided to call it a day for him, and that's probably a very wise decision because he was getting hit a lot and wasn't able to defend himself very well. And so he doesn't get it done again, unfortunately for him, when he steps up in class. But this man, Mohamed Azzaoui, does in fact get it done.
Advance that, Al, again, just embellish on the point of how did this enhance his reputation, if at all, or is it sort of a sideways, stay busy performance?
It's probably somewhere in between those two things, because there were certainly signs to the people that haven't been exposed to Mohamed Azzaoui that he does have a lot of skills, and he showed those tonight, but still left question marks about how he would fare against the top cruiserweights.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 8. A referee in charge, Victor Punyan, stops the contest upon suggestion of the corner. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, and still the IBF Pan Pacific Cruiserweight Champion, Mohamed Ali Azzaoui.
Can't be critical of Azzaoui. He got it done, controlled this fight start to finish, and got a stoppage. So he moved to 23-0, one draw.
Действующим чемпионом IBF Pan Pacific.